Hey there, folks. Hope you're doing well today. Okay, let's just pause for a second and imagine for the last 10 years, you've been supporting a con artist, a liar, a fraud, someone who's actually been exposed being way too close to Jeffrey Epstein than he should have been. Not only that, but you've abandoned all of your former favorite forms of entertainment, and the only thing you're left with is watching Kid Rock do a really bad job at lip syncing. Do you accept defeat? Do you say, wait a second, maybe I made a poor choice? No, you quadruple down. And then you claim that you're winning. And that's what we're going to look at today with Jeremy from the Quartering. Let's take a look.
Well, it just keeps getting worse and worse for the woke left as they continue to try and rewrite history and insert an alternate reality. And really, I guess, I don't know, the woke left and then like the dissident right, is that what you would call it? The people on the right that have now switched up their grift to pretend like they were never supporting Trump and that they were never Republicans. And now they're just a good old fashioned down the middle person so that they don't lose any subscribers, whatever the case is. Whoever those people are, they're on the same team, which means I'm against them. All right.
And so what he's referencing here is more division on the right. And this is a good thing for us on the left. You know, the ones he claims that are not living in reality. But, you know, there was a lot of people on the right who made a lot of good comments about the TPUSA event. I think it was Nick Fuentes who made a lot of fun of Kid Rock, really playing the victim, saying shit like, it's not easy being country in this country, really doing our job for us and pointing out the victim mentality of those on the right. Maybe Jeremy might display some of it here. Who knows?
Here, so we know that the left and then the dissident right have been trying to say, oh, the TPUSA thing didn't beat the Super Bowl numbers. Get wrecked, fools. You're right, it didn't. Everybody knows that. You know, outside of a little clickbaity titles or, you know, this, that, and the other thing, there's not a lot like to really be unhappy about. It did great.
I mean, that really is the way you measure the success of something. There really is not a lot to be unhappy about. No, usually you're like, this was so amazing. This part was cool. This part was cool. That's how success was measured, not how much failure or disappointment happened. This is, again, I don't know, maybe it's that victim mentality. But don't worry, there's still time for Jeremy to do a half-assed job at being racist. Let's take a look.
I mean, who wouldn't want to tune in for this, you know?
Yo tengo una mañana otra.
No.
Pero no hay voz. Y me pregunto si tengo mucha novia.
Hey, Puerto Rico. Hey. I mean, who could imagine not tuning into that?
Oh my God. Like, we often say white is not a nationality on this channel, that it's, you know, more of a container, that the government used it to classify people. But if white was the nationality, Jeremy would be white. This is what white looks like. Someone who sucks this bad at impersonations. Like, some people might take offense and be like, wait, is he calling Puerto Rican people seals? But no, that's just how bad he is at impersonations. Like, this shit should be illegal right here, what he's doing. Like, impersonations this bad. Not being racist, but impersonating people this bad. I'd love to see him fucking dance. But this is what it's like to be on the right at this moment in time. It's crazy. Too much winning. But don't worry. They're about to strike back. They're going to get their revenge. They're going to prove that Bad Bunny's performance actually sucked. And Jeremy's going to make the case that the data proves it. Let's take a look.
But there's now reported that Bad Bunny lost the most viewership from the second quarter to the halftime performance in the history of the Super Bowl. Halftime viewership typically grows. He lost 10 million viewers on NBC. This is a disaster for the NFL, but most left-wing sports media won't cover it. The ratings is from Sports Report. This is an unbiased piece of data.
Okay, so we're seeing them make a bunch of different claims that Bad Bunny lost the most number of viewers in any Super Bowl and that his performance sucked. But again, they want to leave out context and nuance. So let's take a look. Right, when you look at Bad Bunny's viewership numbers, he actually ranked higher than Rihanna and Katy Perry. And again, their performances were in English. Not only that, but context matters. The 7% dip during Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance was larger than dips seen for recent headliners because it occurred during a broadcast that reached the highest peak viewership in U.S. television history. So 7% of the highest viewership in U.S. history equals 10 million viewers. And Kendrick Lamar saw a significant dip himself of 4%, and the artist The Weeknd saw a same 7% dip that Bad Bunny did. But guess what? Again, The Weeknd performed in English. So for Bad Bunny to be performing as well as some of the most popular music artists in America, and doing it all in a language that Americans can't understand? Jeremy, you really showed us, buddy. You're obviously a numbers guy. But no, Bad Bunny is continuing to see benefits from this. His largest day of streaming occurred after the Super Bowl. But here, let's let Jeremy continue to polish this turd. I'm sure he wants to go farther.
Like, the Super Bowl peaked and then it dropped into oblivion at halftime. Now you might be thinking, Jeremy, isn't that normal? Jeremy, isn't that normal? Well, guess what? It isn't. Grok answers. Typically, Super Bowl halftime viewership does not drop significantly. It often peaks or stays stable as people tune in for the show. Over the last 5 years, 2022 to 2026, per Nielsen data, most years showed a 0% drop from the peak of halftime, except in 2026, this year, with a 7% drop, 137.8 to 128.2 across all available data.
And so again, we don't have to go that far back. 2025, Kendrick Lamar saw a 4% decrease. 2021, The Weeknd, he saw a 7% decrease. So both Grok here and Jeremy are very wrong. But let's take a step back. What can we observe through all of this? That about 7% of the viewers of the Super Bowl turned away and potentially went over to Turning Point. And in the big scheme of things, that isn't that large of a number. In the past, we had way more than 7% of the population brainwashed. So this is an indicator that potentially is dwindling, and a good sign for these midterm elections that are coming up. But in the end, what we're looking at here is Jeremy celebrating the loss of the ability to enjoy the entertainers who previously enjoyed, and really just handcuffing himself to watching Kid Rock do a really bad job of lip syncing. While we're over here celebrating diversity and unity, you're really showing us, Jeremy. You're really owning these libs. Good job, bud.
The birds are eating my face. The birds are eating my